here. I just wanted to share a little project that I was starting. So our city recently changed the laws and we're allowed chickens back here. So I started building a chicken coop yesterday. That roof is temporary. I just wanted to see how it's sized out. I'm going to take it down and definitely trim a couple feet off of the overhangs here. But what was getting me was looking at prices online for chintzy made products. Something like this is going to be $400, $500, $600, $700. It's going to hold 5 or 6 chickens, and you're still going to have to put it together when you get it. Basically, you're just paying that premium to have everything sent to you pre-cut. This right now, I'm at about $100 in materials and maybe 4 hours of true labor. There's probably been 4 or 5 hours of just standing here staring at it, making sure that I don't mess up a cut or deciding which way I want to go. I will be writing down the plans for it so that hopefully I can save someone else some time. But I went ahead and put the entrance actually inside the coop, and there'll be a ramp that comes up underneath that. This will eventually be on posts mounted on this side and that side, all 4 corners, but not on the door side, obviously. 2 of these will have wheels on it, so I'll actually be able to move it. And I went with double doors on each side so that I could clean it from both sides. This side is going to have the egg boxes. The other side is just going to have the doors just for access to clean the bedding out, so that I'm not having to reach 4 feet across. And then I went ahead and went with this kind of setup to do ventilation. There still needs to be OBS here. And once I get all the basic construction done, wife is going to paint it up to maybe look like a Doctor Who TARDIS or maybe a train. We're not sure which way we're going to make it look cutesy with, but so then we got the coop entrance there. It's going to come down. Since it's on 4 posts, we're going to do chicken wire around the 3 sides and then have a run come out in front of it, which is why I went with the inside coop. If I put the coop on the door, then as they're leaving, they're still going to have to be in chicken wire, which means I'm going to have to bring the chicken wire way up here. And if it's on stilts, we're talking about having chicken wire at 5 feet and then running out or having to do an angle, or it was just a lot simpler to have them exit the building and come out underneath 3 feet of 3 foot high chicken wire, and then I can make the run however long. And this will also mean that I won't have to be opening and closing the door every night. And it'll be a secured area all the way around. The chicken run will be pretty much stationary, but then at the end of it, say about at this point, I'm going to have a lid that hinges up. There's Puppy. She had a rough time recently. Lid that hinges up so that I can add another extension onto it, so that if we get more chickens later, I can build another one just like that on the other end, and they can share a 20-foot run or a 10-foot run or whatever ends up being appropriate for the number that we have. So that's where I'm at. Spent the last 10 years basically learning how to garden and what's involved with organic growing methods, etc. And this year I decided to go a little bit closer to commercialization. The laws in our area allow for me to literally sell produce out of my front yard with no permit. So I made a 200 square foot bed back here, and I've got a square foot gardening type of system set up. I went with 17 inches instead of 12 inches. And literally every square inch of this is planted except for the steps. I've got root vegetables. So we've got onions, radishes, parsnips that I cannot get to germinate for my life. And then we got beets, and then carrots are at the back. And then we got cauliflower, cabbages, onions, 8-ball zucchini with peas, and then in front of the peas are spinach, and then a bunch of beans that didn't germinate with spinach, and then cucumber, more zucchini, 3 different types of potatoes, and then greens, mustard, kale, whatever. More onions. If I remember right, these are white onions and these are red onions. These are red onions here as well. And then bush beans staggered into the back. $1 worth of twine and some sticks that fell down made a really nice looking trellis. It's kind of a rustic style. I kind of like that look. The pallets I'm not as fond of, but I'm going to have heavier produce back there. So that's what it's going to be. So this is my first attempt at a shade garden. This only gets about 3 hours of full direct sun a day. But south would be towards the house. But I've got all of that. The sun doesn't clear that tree until about 1. And the sun comes up right about there. And then it gets that sky, and then now we're in the afternoon. I'd like to trim these branches so I can get some more daylight back here. I already trimmed a bunch there. And then we've got onions in the cinder blocks with garlic in the cinder blocks, more garlic in the cinder blocks, and then I've got these leftover PVC pipes that I put at the entrance. And between all of this, I've had 0 pest problems. I've had no rabbit damage. I haven't found any slugs. I've had nothing try and get into here. I think the rabbits don't like trying to put their feet up on this and hop over, because I've had nothing but rabbit problems around here before until I've done this. And then doing some container gardening over here, more spinach. Basically, this is just all backups in case anything failed. I planted really early this year because I was tired of the last 3 summers kicking myself in May saying I could have planted 6 weeks ago. So I went ahead and did it this year. And then planted backups in case we actually got a frost. We got spinach, a bunch of onions in containers. That back there's a separate project. This is all called Silene capensis, which is an herbal shamanistic root that I believe, I want to say northern South America or Mexico, they would prep the root in a way that induced prophetic dreams. Has no real effect on you while you're awake, except maybe make you a little drowsy. But I run an herb store as well, so I'm trying to grow some of my own product, just for fun more than anything. And we've got false unicorn root back here, which is normally found in the Carolinas, and then a couple of golden seal as well, here and there, but the rest of this is all false unicorn root. We actually got a nice flower off this guy this year. These are 1 year old on my end. I bought root cuttings last year just to see if they would make it through the winter up here, and they were all stars, man. I did almost nothing to them except park them in the closest environment I could find to Carolina forest, up here in northwest Washington, which is all this shady cedar, fir, acid type soil, and they ate it up, man. I wasn't expecting to get flowers this early. I only got the one, but the other guys aren't far behind. We got some bell peppers over here in the container. I've never had good luck with bell peppers, but I did something right this year. We got my first one ever. Where is he at? There. All right. And then, come on, puppy. Let's go up front. We got grandma chives. So these are my great grandma's chives. So they've been self-propagating for close to 100 years. I think we're at like 85 years on those. So I'm not sure. I think that counts as an heirloom. All this is where we store our brush usually. I just got done with a big burn a few nights ago to clear all this out. So up front, where we actually get some sun, We got lettuce behind tomatoes, 4 different variety of tomatoes, asparagus, and then some cucumbers, some squashes, rogue potato that I let go, some more backups in starts. We got cauliflower and bush cucumbers, pardon me. And then leeks actually germinated. Had a rough time. Took 3 or 4 attempts to get those to germinate. But we got 9 of them. And then radishes planted in between the rows of potatoes. And then a walking space. And then onions planted between potatoes, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I've never done it, so I wanted to see why. And then walking space, and then onions, and then we got squash, peas, spaghetti squash, cantaloupes finally came up on both sides of the peas, a couple rogue potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and then we got white pumpkins on both ends of the Brussels sprouts with beets on the very end. And then this is just for nice, a bunch of lavender that's right by the living room window with rosemary over there, so it kind of scents the house a bit. And then a little experiment I'm trying. I've never grown anything upside down, so I put some peas in here just to see what they would do. And if I can get this to work, I'll probably try a little bit different setup and build something, but I want to use these hooks that we've got on our overhangs and make a food curtain to shade the house during the summer. So this is just my initial tour. The idea is starting a small urban farm in the middle of the city, and this is what the beginning of it looks like. So over the coming weeks, months, years, hopefully, maybe y'all can learn something from the things I fail at. I expect many failures. That's where I learn. So hope you all enjoy. Thanks for watching.